This is a short video about what lane should I ride in. Well, first of all, how many sections do we divide a lane into? Well, the answer to that's going to be three, obviously. What are they? Well, if you watch the MSF e-course, they put it in, they call it LP1, LP2, or LP3. You can also call it the left center, left section, center section, and the right section. Doesn't make a difference. Now, which section or portion of the lane should you ride in? Let's take a quick poll. So what do you think? LP1, LP2, or LP3? Well, the answer is it depends on certain variables. There is no one set correct answer. LP1 usually gives you and others the most visibility. Let's talk about that a little further. Here we got a situation where there's a motorcycle behind a truck and there's an oncoming yellow car waiting to make a left turn. So let's ask a couple of questions here. Number one, does the driver of the yellow car see the motorcycle? Number two, does the motorcycle see the oncoming car? Well, what's going to happen when the truck goes through this intersection here? Well, if this car is in a hurry, it's probably going to go as quickly as possible and hit the motorcyclist. So, what are some things we can do here to avoid a crash? Well, a couple of things we can do is, again, you always want to be proactive. Maybe you want to move to that left section of the lane, LP1, so maybe you get a better angle to see the car and that driver of the car to see you. The other thing is maybe you want to increase your following distance. If you back off, a couple of seconds, that car driver will be able to see you once that truck passes, and vice versa, you'll be able to see the oncoming car there, okay? Now, in the MSFE course, we refer to this as presentation, where you present or place yourself in traffic to see better and be noticed here. So two things we can do here is we can move to that LP1 position, part of the lane, and also increase our following distance to help us be seen so we can avoid this crash. Now remember, motorists have a hard time seeing us. Number one, we're smaller than other vehicles that are out there, and we're not as wide as other vehicles out there. So they have a hard time seeing us. So we need to notice them early and help them to see us. So again, we need to be proactive. Here's another situation where a motorcycle is driving down a side street and there's driveways and houses, and let's say there's a car over here, this yellow car is actually going to pull out of the driveway, and we got some double parked cars here. Maybe it's a UPS truck making a delivery or whatever like that. So, a couple of questions here again. Does the motorcyclist see the car pulling out of the driveway? Probably not. And does the driver of the car see the motorcycle? Probably not also. So again, what can we do here to avoid a crash? Again, a couple of things we can do. Number one is maybe what we can do is move to that LP1 position so we get a better angle when we see that car pull out, and that car kind of will see us as they're pulling out. Maybe we can honk the horn as we're coming by. The other thing is, if you're riding down the street and there's driveways and you can't see what's in a driveway, well, expect a car to be in the driveway. Right? It's that old Boy Scout model, always be prepared. Okay? So again, now, moving to the LP1 position. And again, presentation, that concept in the MSFE course is where you put yourself on the road to see better and be seen better. Here's another situation. We talked about riding in the LP1 for better visibility. But if you're going to ride in this LP1 position, well, what's that car behind you going to do? More than likely it's going to pass you, because cars don't like to be behind motorcyclists. But this is an illegal pass because the entire width of the lane is yours. If that car passes you, it's probably a 4-point ticket. I know, but where's the police officer when you need one? So, what you may want to do, which I like to do, again, I like to move around in your lane side to side, kind of like you're drunk. It's not illegal to go from side to side. I'll give you a little show here. Going back and forth. It's not illegal if you're sober. What you're doing is you're basically protecting your lane. And if a police officer pulls you over, say, hey, look, officer, I'm just trying to protect my lane by going side to side. And nothing illegal about it. But what you're doing is two things here. You're riding down the road. And remember, we just said that motorists aren't going to see you because you're smaller than other vehicles and you're not as wide as other vehicles. But if you're going down the road moving forward, and if you're going side to side, you're giving vehicles another view of seeing you, another range of motion, so to speak. Right? And again, in this particular situation, you're protecting your lane here. All right, let's take another quick poll here. What section of the lane should you be in if you want to make a left turn? What do you think? LP1, LP2, LP3? Well, if the lane is wide, you want to be in LP1 because you're going to let the vehicles pass you on the right. Again, it's illegal, but they're going to pass you, so give them the room to do it. However, if the lane is narrow, you want to be in LP2. Why? Well, you want to block vehicles from passing you on the right so they don't hit you or run over your foot while you're going by. Because if you're in LP1 and the lane is narrow, they're going to try to squeeze through. And again, they may run over your foot or hit your motorcycle. Okay? So again, try to be in LP2 to kind of like block the lane. But again, watch out for the idiots that are going to try to pass you on the left. It does happen. Again, you got some weirdos out there. Right? And I've seen some situations where that car will go up on the curb to pass. It happens. What are you going to do? Here's another scenario, proper and legal turning lanes here. Let's talk a little quickly about it. Again, this is designed to maintain traffic flow. Number one, that car in the number one position here, the motorcycle in the number one position here, it allows the yellow car to make a right turn and the motorcycle to also make a left turn at the same time to keep the flow of traffic going. And that motorcycle in the number two position, you won't hit the blue white car in the left lane while making a right turn. And this applies to the social skills that we mentioned in the basic rider course. One of those 4 subtasks. We mentioned the 4 subtasks. To being a safe rider, you need 4 skills. You need the physical skills, which pertain to your ability to handle and manipulate the motorcycle. You also need the mental perceptual skills, which is your ability to see hazards in advance. You also need the emotional skills, which kind of controls your emotion, and those social skills to be cooperative in traffic and following the traffic laws. Here's another situation. We're on a 3-lane highway, and you're in the left lane on a motorcycle, and you got this red car in the center lane. So the question is, will the driver of the red vehicle see you if you're in that left, center, or right section of the lane? Something to think about here, because motorists, when they change lanes, they don't look. They don't look in the mirrors. They don't do a head check. They just move right over, right? Again, what you see over here. So we recommend riding behind or in front of the car, or maybe alongside of the driver of that car, so they do see you. Because that car may move over, not know you're there, and cut you off. So again, maybe by riding side to side in your lane, or maybe being behind that car or in front of the car or alongside, again, that'll help you to, actually, it's going to help the driver to see you. Again, you want to be proactive out there. You can't fall asleep, okay? You're not going to drive a car. You're not going to drive that motorcycle the same way you drive your car, because we're more vulnerable, all right? And this happens a lot, unfortunately, and I find myself even, again, depending upon what this car is going to do, a lot of times I have to go into that left shoulder to avoid being hit. They just don't pay attention. The motorists just don't pay attention. So you got to, again, be proactive out there. All right? Again, as I said before, these are things you don't think about when you drive your car, and you got to ride that motorcycle differently than you drive your car. Why? You just mentioned it before. It says here, you are more vulnerable. Okay, we don't have that cage around us. We don't have the airbags. We don't have the seat belts. We're kind of like naked to the wind out there, all right? The only protection we have is basically our brains. And there's no fender benders out there on a motorcycle. Our fenders are basically our legs. Grease strip. That grease strip in the middle lane is caused by fluids dripping from vehicles. It's not that big a deal anymore. The roads are built better these days. The grease strip can be tricky when it starts to rain, or maybe when the pavement is very hot. So maybe in those situations, maybe you want to ride an LP1 or LP3 in these 2 conditions. Now, the grease strip is dangerous in certain situations or locations. Basically, it's at toll booths. So you got to be careful when you're pulling up to a toll booth. Watch out for that grease strip because the sun doesn't get to dry the grease strip because of the overhang. So be careful. Maybe you want to be definitely in the LP1 or LP3 section of that toll booth lane, depending if you have the Easy Pass or not. Okay, because if you got to stop and pay the toll, you want to be in that LP1 position so you're close to the basket there. But if you got the toll, the Easy Pass, you can guess LP1 or LP3. All right, so let's talk about the highway again. 3 lanes: left lane, center lane, right lane. What lane you want to be in when you're riding on a highway? Again, let's take that quick poll. You want to be in the left lane, center lane, or right lane? Well, there is, again, no right or wrong answer. Let's just give you the pros and cons of each lane. If you're going to be in that left lane, it's known as the fast lane. It's technically not, but you're required to do the speed limit in this lane, and it's also supposed to be used only for passing vehicles in other lanes. So you better be very comfortable riding a motorcycle if you're going to ride in this lane, because you've got to do at least the speed limit. Now, some people think that right lane is the safest. Well, you got to be careful now. In that right lane, look for vehicles merging into your lane from entrance ramps and parking lots, because they are considered intersections. Because any place 2 or more vehicles can cross, or intersect, you've got an intersection. It goes back to our geometry. So riding in that right lane can be more dangerous than riding in the other lanes. All right? So if you're going to be riding in that right lane, heads up and watch out for those vehicles trying to pull out, merge on, or get into the highway. So we hope this short video helps. Stay safe out there. And again, my name is Dave Bellizzi, and I run the school, the Riding Academy, Jersey, at Montclair State University. So stay well. See you soon.